Welcome in, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. The Titans are victorious on this Sunday afternoon. Ugly as hell, but we're going to try to dissect the victory, what it means for the rest of the season, and everything in between on this week's live episode of Sick Podcast Talking Titans. Sammy, start me up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Ladies and gentlemen, 94 yards. Touchdown, Titans. He is the baddest man in the NFL, and he just took her to the house.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast.
Sick!
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a live edition of the Sick Podcast Talking Titans. We are here post-game to wrap up what we just watched. The Titans take down the Panthers, final score of 17-10. A victory, but about as ugly and unexciting of a victory as you're going to get as a fan, at least, based on the product you saw on the field. Defensively, I think there were a lot of things there to be happy about, even though somehow I think the Panthers might have a worse offensive line than we do. And there were a lot of costly penalties that didn't give us the flip of the field that we were looking for. But 10 points, only giving up 10 points, that's obviously a good thing in the NFL. But before I give my full analysis, I'll turn it over to you guys as always. Jarett, why don't you start us off on how you're feeling after that one?
Well, I mean, like you said, everyone's going to pick apart us, saying, oh, these guys are never happy. The Titans won. Yes, we're happy the Titans won. We're happy we got the 4 wins. It's terrific. I called it this past week that this is probably going to be the only win we have on the schedule for the rest of the way out. So if you didn't win against the 1-9 Panthers, there's some serious issues. First half offense looked pretty good. Levis on one drive, I think he was 6 for 6, orchestrated right down the field for a touchdown. Looked great, confidence. Even before the half, they got the field goal. And, they ran to the ball quick. They got to the field goal, and that was another orchestrated drive. But the second half, it stalled. I think they had 4 or 5 consecutive punts. Stuff like that can't happen, especially against a 1-9 Panthers team. I don't care what it is. We need more points. It pegged us right now, 17 points. We're averaging 16.9. So, obviously, something needs to change there. And defense, you said, there was a positive out of that. I didn't see anything positive besides, like I said, they took advantage of the crap offensive line, but it's a secondary. Every third down, we're giving up conversions. We're getting PIs on third downs. Christian Fulton had, I think, 3 of them himself. So the third down in the secondary has to change and has to get better. Whether they bring somebody in, from the practice squad. I mean, the season's basically over anyway, but it needs to improve for next year. But all in all, I guess a clap for the win.
I guess I'll give him a clap too. I said to the game during the game to my wife that we're probably going to win this game. It should be a game we'd be better off losing, though. We really don't want to fall too far in the draft. I don't want to pick any, higher or lower, I should say, than 7 or 8. We don't want to fall into the 10s or early teens and miss out on one of these tackles. The bright spot of the game for me was obviously the defensive line looked good. We know what they're capable of, whether they're going up against a good offensive line, bad offensive line. I think Autry had his 8th and 9th sack of the season. Simmons is a top defensive tackle in the league, top 3, if not the best, in my opinion. Will Levis, most importantly, though, look poised, look calm, look cool, collected. He did miss what could have been probably a touchdown to Hopkins at the end of the game.
Definitely a touchdown.
I mean, the way Will Levis can throw the ball, he might have had enough room to throw that left-handed, and it still could have been a touchdown. He missed it, though. That's something he'll look back on, though. I'm not at all worried about him. It was annoying because I do have Hopkins in a fantasy league where that would have been a very nice, about a 10, 12-point play for me. But it is what it is. He looked competent. The offensive line, I think Jalen Duncan might be maybe not a diamond in the rough, but a serviceable offensive lineman for us going forward. I don't know if tackle may be his true position, but looks like he belongs in the NFL. But like I said, it's a game that it is what it is. Whether we won or lost, you're not going to get much optimism out of me. I believe out of all 3 of us. When it comes to this season, I think the writing's on the wall. We do play the Colts next week and could beat them, I guess. And then you never really know if you get hot at the end. But this team is way too inconsistent to even think that. We might win 1, maybe 2 more games and finish 6-11. Will Levis looks good. I've said it time and time again since I think for his first start. We have to do everything we can to protect him and to do right by him. Surround him with competent weapons, competent protection, because we have found him. I don't think there is any more room for debate when it comes to that. He's looked as good as any quarterback we've had, and he's done it in just 5 starts. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Sal. But
yeah, because I'm already not fuming, but like, for example, we had a comment here: Levis looked average. Well, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Not for nothing. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? Ryan Tannehill wasn't winning this game. We were going to lose this game at Ryan Tannehill. So that's number one right off of the bat. Okay, so the guy that everyone wanted for the beginning of the season and were so upset when anyone else wanted a difference when he was injured, Tannehill wasn't winning this game. He got sacked probably 5-6 times, and we would have lost this game at the end. That's number one. Number two, how anyone – okay, well, I'm glad you at least hated Tannehill as well, but how anyone can look above average with one receiver who's worth –
say that.
One receiver who's worth a damn, and a flip of a coin every freaking snap, whether or not you're going to have more than a tenth of a second to throw the ball. The fact that he even had 170 yards with what he dealt with the field position being shit every fucking time he got the ball. Nobody can get open. Nobody can block for him. Did he miss a couple throws? Of course, he's a human being. What do you expect? He's going to look like a guy who's been in the league 10 years already? Well, in a lot of ways, he did. Let's remind everyone that Sal didn't want Levis. What? What? Oh my God!
This is starting off hot.
Wait, but you two, can you two at least attest that that's a complete bullshit lie that Mr. Gager is saying?
It's the other one. So if you think I'm Sal, hi, I'm Jarett. Sal's over here. I didn't want Will Levis to begin, and
I didn't really want
him at 33.
Yeah, I didn't really want him either, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, Sal believes every quarterback we've ever taken was going to be the guy.
True.
I don't know about that. That's tending that way.
Wait a sec. Only one of the wait a sec.
Malik, Willis, maybe Cole McDonald,
Rusty Smith, Zach Mettenberger.
Yeah.
Billy Volk. He definitely had a Billy Volk jersey back in the day.
Yeah.
Did you guys scheme this up to get me going today?
No.
You think I liked Zach Mettenberger and I didn't even really like Jake Locker that much when we got him. But I like Mariota, which the two of you did too, so I don't want to hear anything. I gave Malik like 2 weeks.
All right. Malik, now you gave Malik 2 years. We'll cancel out Malik and Levis, and we're all even. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but it just bothers me that people say things that are just so wrong and untrue. This happens everywhere, like Twitter, on our fucking page. Like, I was the biggest Levis supporter from the second. What his name said, Titans select Will Levis. Get out.
Yeah.
Like the fact that people say these things are so. That's the reason why. And if they're looking to get a rise, I mean, it usually works. So congrats if that's what you were looking to do. But the bottom line is, great content, of course. Just make me have a fucking aneurysm. That's how we're gonna get the views up. But So there's no way Levis. What do you expect Levis to do with DeAndre Hopkins and fucking Nick Westbrook-Akina? I don't understand what you guys expect. You got Chigakonkwo. Why don't we throw some shade on Chigakonkwo instead of Will Levis? Maybe the biggest dud of the whole fucking season. A guy who thought we might be a Pro Bowler this year. We can't even. We don't even know how many snaps he's getting a game. He's so irrelevant in the offense.
Josh Wiley outsnapped him actually last game. I don't know about the snap count this week. We're gonna get.
I'm sure it's pretty close this week.
It's definitely pretty close. I know he had 4 catches for 44 yards, but still he absent. We thought he was going to be this superstar, and there's nobody.
Take a look at the film, guys. Will Levis had throws in traffic with zip on the ball. I mean, I don't know.
His arm talent is going to be, top 3 in the league eventually. In my opinion, his arm talent is unreal.
I know, but D, I need you to explain to us, and we'll put this comment up for everyone to see once you say. I need to know what about today's performance made him look average. What, that he didn't throw any touchdowns? when 80% of his drives started on the 10-yard line and his own 10-yard line.
This just goes back to everything like what we were saying too. He has no weapons. He has DeAndre Hopkins. That's it. Terrible offensive line, but he has a blind side now we have Jalen Duncan who had a decent game today, so he really didn't have to worry about as much. Where I thought the right hand side with your boy Vin. Ray Dunes or Diller Radins or whatever the hell his name is.
No, that's just a guy
whoever's boy it is.
Say is my guy because he follows me on Twitter.
Whoever it is,
don't follow me.
He's been god awful since we've been all calling and praying for him to be on the line. Penalty after penalty, he's getting whiffed all day.
He sucks. He sucks.
Yeah, Jalen Duncan stepped in very nicely on the left hand side like we needed. I'm not saying he's the future at all, but he could be a pretty good backup swing tackle right now. Who knows?
And going forward.
Yeah.
But one other thing too, guys, and this is just the reality of it. Like I tweeted a few times, like, just for trying to make it, I don't know the word I'm looking for, culminate it into the air. But we were never getting Marvin Harrison Jr., okay? We're even if we got a top 3 pick, what we're doing. We're taking a lineman to pair with Skoronski to build up the offensive line. We were never going to get freaking Marvin Harrison Jr. So with that being said,
I wanted to say something too about defending our bro Will Levis. His 2 best weapons are a 31-year-old DeAndre Hopkins and a 30-year-old Derrick Henry. Both can still play, but both, probably aren't the player they used to be just even 2 years ago. So
I think Henry is.
Well, listen, don't take away from the fact that it's not prime Derrick Henry, it's not prime DeAndre Hopkins. They can both still play, but instead of maybe being the best at their position, not the player they were.
Not you. I'm not. No,
not the player they were a few years ago. This kid had, like you said, Sal, coin flip's chance of getting killed every snap he takes, and the fact that his best offensive weapons are 2 players that are entering their early 30s who are still good, but not the players they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the poise that he has showed is veteran-like. His arm talent is undeniable. I think his physical attributes will never in question. It was whether or not he had the mind for it, which is usually the case with every quarterback, and he seems like he has the mind for it as well. More often than not, when he checks off to a certain play, it ends up working out for us. So,
guys, he just outperformed the number 1 overall pick in the fucking draft. The guy that everyone said was going to be the easiest number 1 in the last decade at QB, guys. We're not going to even – and he had just as bad of an offensive line. And maybe it was a little bit worse, but our offensive line wasn't outperforming Carolina's by any means. And we're just going to say looked average. No, it didn't look average. What looked average was the play calling, was the defense on third down was average until the second half. And how do you expect to score consistently with no weapons when you're constantly starting offense on your own, when your opponent's 15-yard line, 10-yard line? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, just look at Florida State. Look at Florida State. Since I'm a Florida State fan, last night when they had to when they were down 12-0 to Florida in the Sunshine Showdown, they were averaging the 15-yard line in the first half. Florida State. I mean, I don't want to bring in college football into it, but when you're down back like that so many times, your offense and play calling has to change all the time.
Forget about the level. Forget about the level. Football was, and always will be a game of inches. That's it, guys. This game, more than anything, 2 atrocious teams. And one has to come out on top, unless there's a tie, which was very unlikely. And the one with the better quarterback came on top. And that's the bottom line. He's not, I'm not saying I know for sure this guy has the capability of leading us to a Super Bowl win. Because he's got fucking 4 starts under his belt. But what I will tell you is, as long as I've been a fan of this football team, which has been 30 years, but I've been a diehard fan, I'll be conservative and say half of my lifetime, last 15 years, I've never seen a Titans quarterback with so much poise.
Yeah, he's got that.
With so much zip on the ball, who gives a shit on every bad thing that happens on the field. You see it on his face. He's not smiling like a fucking jerk off like our last fucking QB when something doesn't go well. That's what you want to see.
If you saw that one drive where he was 5 for 5 and he led the touchdown drive, he was telling like Tim Kelly on the sideline, "Let's go, tempo."
Yes, he's a leader. Anyone with 2 functioning eyeballs, you don't have to have 20/20 either. If you have eyeballs that can see, you can see he's a leader. He's got swag, and he takes everything personally. That is what you need as a quarterback to win in this league. Now it is our job to get his confidence up, not fucking try to lose every game, get his confidence up. All we need to do is get an impactful player in the first round. Doesn't matter where we pick. Just get an impactful player. Don't swing and miss like every other fucking year. And we're going to be okay. We got $100 million. I don't want to lose any more fucking. I'm not rooting for this team to lose. I'm not doing it. It's a bullshit mentality. And if everyone thinks Mike Vrabel is such a good fucking coach, then nobody should think that he's going to go into a game wanting to lose, especially you, Jarett. Especially you. I don't want to hear tank, tank, tank if everyone thinks Mike Vrabel's a top 5 fucking coach. Look at Baltimore. Look at Pittsburgh, my dad mentioned. Let me give him compliments on this. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. It doesn't matter how many injuries they have. They win. Baltimore wins. Pittsburgh wins no matter what, because that is their brand of football. That is the culture they have built. They don't fucking tank for nothing. We don't need to tank. We need to get smarter. We need to be more disciplined. That's the bottom line.
There's no tanking involved. And anybody that thinks that Vrabel's going to tank or anything like that, there's no tanking involved. I mean, these are grown men playing for contracts. These are coaches playing for their jobs, everything like that. There's no tanking involved. We just have the roster. It's just been depleted. We need to build it back up now. We have the assets next year that we're going to do it. I don't want to keep talking about next year because I want to go game by game here as we go. But we know that the season's over with 7 losses. You're not going to make this magical run now with the gauntlet that's coming up for us right now, guys. It's not happening.
And I'm going to say something else, and I'm going to assume it wasn't Amy Adams. I'm not going to take anything until I know the facts, and I'm not believing like anything Diana Rossini says about our team because she's been wrong about a lot. But just for the sake of discussion,
she's been one of the best Titan reporters out there for us.
Well, she said we weren't getting Clowney. She said we weren't getting Julio. So that's all I need to know. We got both of them. She was pretty adamant about both. So with that being said, think about the precedent it sets that we're giving this guy. We're giving praise to this guy and saying, "Oh no, he's our quarterback of the future." When we're on a fucking 15 out of 18 game lose or whatever it is. I mean, that's kind of sad, regardless. So I'm not going to take any stock in that. But Vrabel should be playing for, he should be coaching for his job right here every game now. And this was another subpar performance. We got a victory because it was the worst team in the league we faced. Like I said on my post video, if we can beat the Colts, because we're going to be at Nissan, we haven't lost at Nissan yet. Do I think we're going to at this moment? Probably not. But if we can figure a way to win, then it's a game we can get out of bed for Monday night. Get us to the point where we can say on the show, hey, the Jets beat the Eagles at home. Get us to a point where we can at least say, hey, you know what? We strung 2 together. We're playing a team that's way, way better than us, but the Jets beat the Eagles. Let's just get to a point there and move on. But this defense, I think, is really a bigger concern than the offense because as good as they are as keeping points off the board to an extent, as I mentioned, I'm sure you two will both agree, these 3rd and longs and these penalties are just unacceptable. And who is to blame for it, guys? I'd like to know from each.
It's got to be the players. I know you hate Vrabel and you're going to say Vrabel, but Christian Fulton's been doing it all season. But who else are we going to put out there? Because if you throw Trey Avery out there, Christian Fulton has the potential to do it. We've seen him do it. He's just struggling this year. I don't know what it is, but he's gone next year. Sean Brenty's gone next year. There could be a whole revamp of this secondary with that $100 million. I don't know, but that is the major concern. Our front is fine. Our front's fine. Yeah. It's the major concern of the pass defense because it's PIs after PIs after PIs all the time.
I'm one more time, guys, because this is really pissing me off. This guy, Dan, with all due respect, Dan, if you're going to comment in the chat publicly and just straight up say lies, then pick another channel, bro, because to say that I hated the trade up for Levis when I put a live fucking reaction video on draft night of the excitement. Yeah, dude, I'm Sal. The middle guy is Jarett.
Yeah,
Jar. Well, Jarett, you can tell him how to spell your fucking name.
I hated the Will Levis trade up. I'll be honest with you. But
oh my god,
what am I going to do now? Am I not going to support the kid?
I don't understand these people.
I absolutely hated it. I wanted Darnell Washington. I wanted Tank Dell. I wanted Mingo from Carolina. I wanted a wide receiver. I wanted a threat for this team. I understand it now that we got Will Levis, and I full support in him right now. I mean, you can call me out all you want.
Cut you off. Go ahead, Van.
Get after it,
You
Vin.
got that look on your face like, who's cutting me off this time? I know. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad. No, I wanted to wait a little bit just in case you guys wanted to add anything else. I'm going to go back to even what you said about not tanking. I don't think any team tries to tank. I think a front office sometimes will put a team out there that's a little less talented than the rest and hopes that, they compete, but they end up losing. I don't see much room to gain with this team winning 7 or 8 games. I'd rather lose out, in my opinion, and secure a top 5 pick and get one of these Joe Alt, the kid from Penn State, one of those guys. I agree. Whether you're picking at 5 or 10 or 15, you have to pick an impact player. The chances of it, though, being more of a sure thing, or when you pick a little higher, what I wanted to see is confidence from Will Levis. We've seen it. I'll put my hat on the line as well and say I wasn't a huge fan of it, but you picked him, and I hope that Malik Willis was good, and he wasn't. We picked Will Levis, and I hope that he was good, and this kid has shown all signs of being an NFL quarterback. When it comes to defensive mistakes, of course you have to put some blame on the players, Jarett. I'm not going to argue there, but the coaching staff has to take some sort of blame as well. Shane Bowen, Mike Vrabel. How I feel about Vrabel. I'm a little in between with, as you guys. Sal wants him gone. Jarett wants to give him another chance. I could see us keeping him. I could see us getting rid of him, but absolutely there has to be a responsibility on the head coach's part when it comes to the discipline of your team from top to bottom. And that's not just including penalties. That's off-field behavior. That's the whole 9. You know what I mean? Just being a smart football team, a disciplined football team, and he has to take some blame for it. I'm curious to see how he sounds this week, if he gives Will Levis any credit about that halftime before the half, drove us down the field, got us in field goal position. I want to see his mentality for this week with a division game at home. But of course he has to take some blame, which he won't do. But going forward, I just think we're not going to go in there to lose. We're just undermanned. Our best 2 offensive weapons are at the tail end of their career. Whether they could still play or not, they're at the tail end of their careers. Maybe a few good years left. Defensively, our line is our strength, but it seems like they only play really well against bad offensive lines. Our secondary is abysmal. This team has a lot of room for improvement all over. And I think it would just be more beneficial if we could fall in that 5-6 spot, not the 9-10 spot.
I'm glad.
You might have the choice of one of those 2 tackles. You know what I mean?
Glad,
you might be able to be close enough up if you wanted to pull a blockbuster to go get a Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
but I don't see the bright side of winning 3 more games. We know what we have in our quarterback.
Listen,
that's most important. That's the biggest takeaway that us as a fan base needs to take away from this season as a whole, was to find out if Levis is him. Whether you liked him, Jarett liked him, or Sal liked him, whoever, it's irrelevant. I'm
glad that DJ brought this up, or one of our favorite listeners. Okay, if we're gonna keep Vrabel, which I've been on record and I'll continue to say, I don't want to do. I don't think he's the right fit at coach for us. As God is my fucking witness, if we don't bring somebody outside in as OC next year, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Tim Kelly's not it. He's not it. It doesn't matter what the roster is. He's not creative. We're still running fucking run plays up the middle on 2nd and 10 when it's clear as day. Derrick Henry's best runs right now, at least, are outside the hash marks. We can utilize those arms of his, and we don't do it nearly enough. It's black and white shit. So if we're going to keep Vrabel, they better bring in somebody from another team that currently has a successful offense to call ours. I don't care what it costs them. They need a new OC. This OC is not it. I'm off Tim Kelly 150%. With that being said, just to touch on the Marvin Harrison thing one more time, not for nothing, at the end of the day, if we really want him, I don't give a shit. Figure out a way to get draft picks, to package them and get them here. I don't know. If it's really that important to you to get a young star receiver because you fucked up the last one, figure a way to do it. But I don't want to lose out. I don't want to root for this team to lose because what will happen is, guys, is we'll keep losing. We'll take a lineman at 4 and we'll still have 5 or 3 other bad linemen next year, and it won't even look like anything happened. And I can't take that again. So we got Skoronski, who's a top 15 pick. Hopefully he's a Hall of Fame caliber player long term. Take a lineman in the 2nd round. That should be a starter. Any second round lineman should be a starter in this league in the draft. And then use the $100 million to piece it together and figure it out. But I don't want to talk about the fucking draft anymore. Tim Kelly is awful, and we got to stop allowing Vrabel to handpick his coordinators, if nothing else, because he cannot do that. We know that he can't.
I'm gonna throw a little back at you, because I don't want to fully agree with anybody on this podcast, because if we all agree on everything, we're a boring podcast. So,
yeah, I know.
Tim Kelly, I kind of like some of the stuff he does, but let's look at the offensive line, okay? The offensive line today, I texted you guys, early in the game. Aaron Brewer is not an NFL center. He's getting blown up by 350-pound linemen. I don't give a shit if he's as tough as a $2 Salisbury steak. I can care less. He cannot play center in the NFL. Okay, so that's a start. So when we're trying to run or even trying to pass and be creative, we really can't. Because you said we have one-dimensional wide receiver, and the other two, Chris Moore and Nick Westbrook-Akina, are blocking wide receivers, so to speak. Tall guys that can block. That's what Vrabel wanted. Now we have to move on to that because Burks, forget about him. He's not coming back. He is not coming back. I don't know. I don't even want him on this team. It's sad to say.
He's not coming back. You're not trading.
He's not coming back this year.
No, he will be back this year.
You can kiss it. You can kiss it.
They would have put him on the IR. They would have put him on the IR already if he wasn't going to.
Hasn't it been 5 games? Hasn't it been 5 games?
It's been over a week.
No.
A week?
Oh, 5. I thought you said 5 days. What do you mean over 5 games?
Yeah, hasn't it been 5 games he's been out?
No, it's been like 3.
No.
It's been like
sure
3.
About that?
It's been like 3. Yeah, it's been like 3.
Well, whatever. Either way, he's not. He's not.
He got hurt in Pittsburgh. He got hurt in Pittsburgh, bro.
I would take one of you guys at wide receiver over him. I've been saying
2 games. It's been 2 games.
Whatever. It is what it is. But
and don't say you would take one of the 2 of us over him because he's made a handful of really good catches.
In my prime, maybe.
His problem is health. That's really what his problem is. The guy's always got lingering injuries, so he can't.
Well, lingering injuries. He catches the ball, and he besides his Pittsburgh thing and the Eagles thing, because those were 2 blatant ones. I'll give him those. But other than that, he comes off with a hamstring. It comes with a hamstring, his ribs. He comes out. I mean, enough is enough, dude. We need stable wide receivers at the position. That's why our quarterbacks are failing.
Stable, yes, but we don't have the talent. He's very, very talented. He just
stay on the field.
He can't stay on the field, but his talent level is still very high ceiling. That's a fact. I mean, we've seen him moss people on multiple occasions. It's just a matter of if he's got lingering issues.
The best ability is availability, and I think what Jared's alluding to is the fact in 2 years now he's showed that he really can stay on the field. You can have all the talent in the world. Dorial Green-Beckham was talented too, and when he played, he made an impact, but he didn't play much. So that's neither here nor there. He's going to come back. Listen, we can have him for 3 more years if we wanted for next to nothing. Yeah. So it's really not costing us anything for him to keep him. So we're going to keep him, but just had to get that.
He's better than Nick Westbrook when he's healthy. I mean, that's no.
Nick Westbrook plays a lot though.
He does. But when healthy,
you know what the biggest highlights we have on Traylon Burks? Mossing people in training camp. In July. That's what we have. Yes, we do. That's it.
No.
So when he gets on the field next week, hopefully.
He didn't moss. What do you mean? The picture everyone uses when he mossed that fucking guy against Green Bay. I know that was his breakout only game, but that's not true. He's made big catches, contested catches.
He has 100-yard game in his career.
Consistency and availability. That's all we're called for. That's what we want. That's it.
Okay,
we'll see next year.
You were supporting Tannehill for fucking 4 years, the most inconsistent guy on the team. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Now we didn't have anything. Look what happens when you took everything away from him.
It took 9 losses in a row from the guy for you to finally get 0% on him.
That's because you know why? I had no idea what was going to happen after that. We knew what we had in him. And this team blew up after everything else, but that's beyond the point.
Listen, if we have Traylon Burks as our wide receiver 4, he's the best wide receiver 4 in the NFL. So let's just be honest there.
Congratulations.
Well, let's hope he's our number 4 next year. Let's hope he's our number 4 next year.
Let's see listen, we can stop arguing over fucking Traylon Burks. He's probably not going to play the rest of this year. If he does, it's to the point where we'll believe it when we see it. That's a fair assessment. Right, wrong, or indifferent. End the conversation with fucking Traylon Burks.
All right, we're done with that conversation. So you want to do next topic here? Next topic. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left, right? Indy, the Dolphins, Houston, Seahawks, Houston, and Jacksonville. How many out of those do you see how many wins we have?
I think we can win 2 of those games.
Who are those two that?
I think we could beat Indy next week at home. It's going to be a tough game, and it's at home. And then I think maybe we could split maybe with Houston. I don't know. They look good. They look good right now, but those division games are tough. I think at best we win 2 more games.
I think we're going to be in every division game, so it's going to be a coin flip every division. Maybe we get the right coin flip on every division game. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. As good as they're playing, the Colts have a backup in. The Texans have a rookie.
Backup in, by God, you love Gardner Minshew. You could.
No, I do love Gardner Minshew.
They put up 27 today.
I do love Gardner Minshew, but he's still not the starter that they had or that they picked. So at the end of the day, he is a backup. Still think he's better than Ryan Tannehill. That's not saying
much though.
Well, it should to Jarett because he was the
I'm over the trade. I gave you -0.
He was the guy about 5 minutes ago. But with that being said, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Division games are very typically close, and 80% of our remaining schedule is division games. Can we beat Seattle? Of course we can fucking beat Seattle. But again, it's all going to come down to the stuff that is actually fixable midseason. Like the play calling, yes, Levis is better than Gardner Minshew. Being conservative, not doing stupid shit like we did against Pittsburgh on a 3rd and 8 on the 13-yard line. We run a draw play, kick a field goal, get out of there. Those are the things we cannot do. If we can fix those things, maybe we can win a couple games. Let's not forget, guys, beginning of the season, we thought we were going to test for the division. And not much has changed. We don't have it. We're not plagued with injuries this year. So I understand we've had poor coaching, horrible. I mean, in reality,
too, that Saints game and that Pittsburgh game could have gone either way. We could be we could be 6 and 5 instead of 4 and 7.
Of course. I mean, outside of the Brown game and last week, those are the only 2 games we've been blown out by. I mean, the other bad teams in the league, they're getting blown out every week. The Jets, the fucking Panthers.
That's the defense. The defense holds it. It's just the offense, man. That just shows you that we have no weapons.
But they're not. The defense is not. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not
as good as years past.
No. The word I'm looking for is they're not. What's the word? Like they shouldn't be getting off scot-free here, okay? Because even though they're holding points off the board, like I've said, they're consistently missing opportunities to give us 30 yards before we even snap the ball. Like when you have a 3rd and 16 and you give it up and then let another first down or 2 go and stop them on a 4th and 1. Those are 30 yards that we desperately need with this offense. So they need to be better at that before we crown them, this absolutely excellent defense that they are, because they're not. And that's because they can't get home. They got home today, but they have a lot of trouble getting home in the front and no discipline in the secondary. That's just the bottom line. But, again, they sucked me back in somehow, even with a shit performance. They suck. No, I'm saying I can't root for them to lose.
Of course not. You can't. It's just like you just know what the product on the field is right now with the roster. That's why I'm not. I know
the roster. Defensively, the roster isn't that bad though. That's the thing.
Dude, the secondary is terrible. Yeah. The secondary is terrible, which is I don't know if it's killing the line or not, but we're not creating as much turnovers besides the strip stack today. We're not creating turnovers with interceptions or anything. The guys versus a shit offensive line, they get to the quarterback. Other than that, where's the stunts of old? Arden Key, you're telling me Arden Key and Bud Dupree are the only 2 that flip-flopped on the defensive front, and it's a huge difference in sacks per team on the team now?
Well,
it's Jim Schwartz.
You owe Arden Key an apology after last week.
I know, because he hasn't showed up at all. Yeah, but he hasn't showed up.
Had a great day today.
Today against a crap offensive line. Let's see what he does against Indy, and let's see what he does against all these other good offensive lines.
Another thing nobody speaks of too, which has to be brought up, every time this Titans offense has been very, very productive, they have always had a lot of offensive performance or success with their tight ends. And we had a massive drop-off at tight end the last 2 years. So that's something you also have to keep into consideration. If we're going to continue this style of offense where we're going to do ground and pound which we shouldn't do with Will Levis anyway, but we're still trying to run that offense with a kid who can throw, and we're getting no production from our tight ends. Like we're getting no pass production from our tight ends, and that's stalling drives. If we're not going to take shots down the field, we need our tight ends open in the middle of the field, and they're not getting open, or we're not finding them, whichever.
A really good tight end this year that could be top 5, top 6, top 7 pick.
I can't waste a top 10 pick.
I don't see it either, but I'm saying there's one that
Bowers. He's a dirty player, man. I said it 2 years ago. I'll look up the tweet. Brock Bowers is a Vrabel guy.
Where does he play? I don't know anything about college.
Tight end of Georgia. Yeah. Brock Bowers is a filthy player.
He's better than Laporta and Kincaid and all them.
He could be just as good of his rookie year. Absolutely,
he's better than him. I think he owns all the records at
Georgia. Well, again, I can't justify
because he'll watch highlights. He'll be tweeting about him. Late night thoughts by Sal. It'll be 3 a.m.
Late night thoughts. Maybe with the 6 or 7 people get Brock Bowers. Yes.
No. Is he a white dude?
Yeah. Well, let's not take anything away. If we lose on Marvin Harrison, this year, like get that out of everyone's head. Everybody who's watching, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not coming to the Titans. We have to own the first or second pick for that to happen. It's not happening. So if you guys want playmakers, I know we're going back to the draft. If you guys want playmakers, there's a ton in this draft. Brock Bowers being one of them. Neighbors for the LSU wide receiver being another one. I think he just broke the LSU receiving record.
We just won a game, and we're still talking about the fucking draft.
But still, and you got Keon Coleman. So like,
I know, me too. I'm doing it too.
People in here saying, "Oh, that we're gonna take the Penn State tackle." I'm just trying to answer the questions, just trying to be a little.
No, I'm joking. I'm talking about it too. I'm to blame just as much.
But there's a ton.
Let's beat the fucking Colts at home. We have not lost at Nissan Stadium this year. Let's keep that streak alive. And then, like I said, we'll be on here after the Colt game, God willing, knock on wood, saying, "Hey, the Jets beat the Eagles." That's what that's going to be our phrase of the week if we pull out this victory against the Colts. Hey, the Jets beat the Eagles. Jets are probably also worse than us. The AFC wild card is a lot more fucked up than I thought it would be. I'll be honest. I thought the AFC wild card.
No shot at that.
Huh?
We have no shot at that.
What do you mean no shot at that? The AFC wild card has like 6 wins right now.
We have to finish the season 5-1 in our last 6 games.
Well, we have the tiebreaker over the Chargers. We have the tiebreaker over the Bengals. It's not like it matters. The Bengals are pretty much done anyway. It's not.
You need a lot of things to happen. You would need a lot of things to happen.
Well,
anything could happen, but with this roster and the inconsistency.
While we're here. Oh, we got Colts fans in here. Nice. While we're here, we'll just take a little peek. Here at the playoff picture here. So standings right now, wild card. So right now the Colts have the last wild card at 6-5. Okay, we got to play them once again. We got to play them next week, which would be pretty huge in that way. We got to play the Texans twice. They're below us. The Bills are a mess. The Broncos
are playing decent football the last few weeks.
They're about to get shithoused.
The Bills are playing decent football.
I mean, their whole fan base thinks they're not making the playoffs. I'll trust them. Broncos they're starting to play well, but we all know what they do. The Raiders give me a break, and the Bengals and Chargers are in front of us that we each have tiebreakers over. So is it a long shot? Of course it's a long shot. And Denver's up 14-0 already, so that's not going to help our case either. But crazier things have happened when we have 4 division games left out of the last 6. 6 or 7 left.
We're 4-11. We have there's 17 games. 6 games left.
There's 6 games. So Dolphins, Seahawks, and 4 division games.
Yeah.
Hey, if we can win 3 division games, 3 of those 4, and beat the fucking Seahawks, what does that put us at? 8 and 9.
Yeah,
if we that might get that might get the 3rd wild card spot.
We'll see. I'm just saying. The good news is I believe Will Levis does have the talent, capability to overcome all the other bullshit. That's the reality of it. He did it against the Falcons. What if your boy could come back, Burks, and be an impact? That would help us.
Maybe.
That would be huge.
Maybe.
If this is a goal we're going after now, but you guys know as well as I. This roster, you really think this team can finish the season 4-2? No. You can't say that honestly.
This
3-3 at best.
Yeah, this team is going to put up a fight and a dog fight at home against Houston with those Oilers jerseys on. I'll tell you that right now. So that's the only other win, possibly with Indy this week too, because it's a division
and maybe
game.
Seattle. You never know what Seattle team's showing up.
I'm telling you, the outlier is Levis, and not just about his talent on the field and what he does throwing the ball. I'm talking about the swag he gives off, the confidence he gives off. You saw him upset on the field right off the bat, shaking his head, being pissed off. He had no time to throw. He's at least showing these players, hey, you guys gotta do better. Like, he's holding people accountable. He's a fucking child. The fact that he's doing that now is such a good sign. And if he can get this team to rally around them, like teams do sometimes with new head coaches, but obviously that's not going to happen. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. You know, it is what it is. Until we are mathematically out, I, as a fan, cannot do it and say, hey, let's lose out. When the clock strikes 0 and that percentage gets to 0 and we are officially eliminated, then, of course, I'm going to want them to lose because there's literally nothing to gain from winning. And there's only stuff gaining. You're only gaining from losing. But until that time comes, I can't do it. And I have no problems letting everybody know that it's not at 0%. It really isn't. It really isn't. If we have 4 division games left out of 6, if we can win 3 of those, which with the rosters on this team, assuming, let's say we lose again to the Jags, even at home, and win the other 3, and we can beat Seattle, anything can happen. But I don't want to get too carried away with this because, again, we beat a really bad team, and we had to take every second to do it. So
yeah.
That's about it. That's all there is to say. Let's shout out our sponsors and then hit the road. I got to go to work and try to salvage. Yeah. All right. Wait. Let's go to where's our thing, Sammy? Well, let's let Sammy give us our lines, and then we're gonna rock and roll, guys. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the show. We appreciate everybody joining the live stream today. We're gonna do this every week. Maybe we'll start doing live shows more often. I mean, I like the fact that we can converse with the fans as well and kind of get their output on everything that we talk about, and it kind of helps drive us to argue. So that's obviously yeah, good content. Good content. When I lose my voice on the show at work. I'm gonna be using a voice box pretty soon. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use DraftKings code 6sports to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL bet. Obviously, with college football ramping up towards the end of the season and basketball's back, hockey's back, couldn't be a better time to use DraftKings to get those bets in. So make sure you take advantage of that. And appreciate the sponsorship from our friends over at DraftKings. So anything else you fellas want to add before we close shop for tonight?
That's about all.
That's about all, man. Billie Jean is my lover. That's all I got to say. Thanks for everyone for joining in. Hope you have a great rest of your night, great day, great week, and we'll see you on the flip. Tighten up. Sammy, send me out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.